Welcome, welcome, welcome on a special episode of Creators Corner. My name is James Dale, and we are with Mr. Donovan Longmore. And today is Jamaica Independence. So, all the Jamaica massive out there, so big up on yourself. Yeah? Jamaica Independence. How you doing, Mr. Donovan?
I'm doing mighty well, my brother. Doing great.
God
doing
bless
great.
us. God bless us all.
Yes.
And we are alive and kicking and well, and we are trying to put boot to floor. Mr. Donovan Longmore is an avid entrepreneur with over 35 years of leadership experience in the entertainment, finance, and healthcare industries. Born and raised in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and migrated to the U.S. in the early 1980s. He carried with him a dream and a vision of making Jamaica a better place for all, and has a passion for making a positive impact in his community. While studying accounting at Central Connecticut State University, he noted that the limited access and scarcity of Caribbean music in national and local radio station, which inspired him to become an on-air radio personality on WFCS in 1988. The opportunities enabled him to host, market, and promote concerts, fashion shows, forums, and programs throughout the U.S. and the Caribbean. His passion and devotion to help others in the Caribbean diaspora has inspired him to become an active advocate for numerous causes in the West Indian spectrum. Mr. Longmore decided to put forth his God-given talent to help bring changes in his community. He is the co-chair of the State of Connecticut Northeast region of the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council and serves on several task forces: crime prevention, agriculture, child development, churches, scouting, and the United Way. He is the marketing director of Argum Industries Ltd, nutraceutical food and beverage company whose mission is to brand and market worldwide agriculture products and services out of Jamaica and the Caribbean. Utilizing the concept of made in Jamaica, the idea is to market natural resources from Jamaica on a worldwide level. The idea is to market everything outside of the country that's coming from in the country outside. So all the Jamaican dollars stay in Jamaica, all the foreign dollars go back in Jamaica. That's a good idea that we need to do. Money, if there was more people like you, Jamaica wouldn't be considered a third world country. And for me, I think that's a bad word. There should be no third world or first world countries out there in the world. It's just countries I'm on. You know, it shouldn't be no regal anything. It should be no difference in any kind of economic status or creed or color. Everybody is human beings. Only one race, the human race. This will in turn help stabilize the economy by providing jobs and help improve the overall living conditions in the country. He is the president of Earth Angel Productions, a gospel-based company that promotes talent searches for young people. His leadership and humanitarianism and media personality has been recognized by the states of Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, and the city of Hartford, Baltimore, and Springfield. A few of his numerous awards include Exceptional Community Service Leader, the Extraordinary People's Award, the two Hollywood Lifetime and Humanitarianism Award to Jamaica, and the 100 Men of Color Award in 2015. He is a community member of the West Indian Independence Celebration and the Taste of Caribbean Jerk Festival, the two largest festivals in North America that generates over 20,000 people annually. He supports various charitable organizations such as Sickle Cell Foundation, Jamaican Gymnastics Association, ex-servicemen and women of Jamaica, and children's Bible clubs. He is the chairperson for PLOG, a non-profit organization that provides skills training and support for underprivileged children in Ghana, Africa. Loving and devoted husband, father, mentor, tutor, speaker, and basketball coach. He credits his blessings to God and then his family. He is the host of television series Long Talks and radio program entitled Reggae Voyage. Saturdays at 8 p.m. on WESU 88.1 FM. I'm going to say that again. He is on air at WESU 88.1 FM. Okay? So we know about Donovan Longmore. The community knows about Donovan Longmore. So I want my guests to know about Donovan Longmore. And what I want to know for you is stay in the Bible, Matthew 22. Many are called, but few are chosen. When did you know that it was your calling to serve your community?
Actually, it's from a younger age. I would say from about 8 years old, I developed this thing of having no fear. I'm fearless. Growing up in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and I wanted to, help others, because you grew up in the country and you want to see, people live a better life, and that was what I was seeing. Most families in Jamaica, the women are the one who are more like the head of the household, or the sole provider, and they have this thing saying, the fathers them come and go, and I didn't want that for me, and I didn't want it for my children, so I decided to make that decision. And a great thing happened to me when I was 12 years old. I never forget it. My mom gave me a Bible. And the whole concept came, being young, being her only son. I have 3 sisters, my mom's side of the family, and father, have tons of kids, 25 total.
Whoa!
And
Papa was a rolling stone.
Yes, sir. And mom, I looked at mom. Not that I got it from my father, because I was always conscious of everything in life, and I said to myself, "Mommy, when we grow up, I'm gonna be the baddest man on earth." To get rid of the bad man and gunman, them, right? I was gonna either be a soldier or a police. And I said, "Mommy, when I grow up, the woman them are gonna just flap me." And my mom said, "Boy, you're only gonna have one woman." I guess you got that concept from my father having
right.
different baby mothers and stuff like that. So she told me that, and she gave me the Bible. And I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be, the biggest, baddest man here is on earth. And she says, let me tell you something. No matter how big and how bad you get when you grow up, there are always 2 people who are going to be bigger and badder than you. And James, for the life of me, I thought about him. I'm like, no, man, I'm going to get big and bad. I'm like, who would those 2 people be? And I give up. So I went to her. I said, all right, ma'am, tell me who those 2 people are, because I want to know them. And she says, well, first and foremost, you're looking at one. I said, well, come on, man, you're my mother, of course. And then I said, okay, I get that part. Who is the other? And she said, he is the baddest man there is. He can beat up anybody by himself. And I said, what? No, man, I want to be film friend. And then she looked at me and she pointed to the Bible. And she didn't say nothing else to me. James, I read from beginning, 12 years old now, from beginning to end. Me just come home from school, I just have really become, I know, and you're investigating and you're trying to find out. I mean, I know who God was, but at the same time, I was looking for more, because you think you understand certain things, and then in reality, you don't, because there's more knowledge. I was only 12, so as I grow older, I get wiser.
Right.
So I did, and I said, wow. The next day she came to me. You found out who that is? I said, yeah, God Almighty. And she said, all right. And from this on,
that's when the training started.
Yes, me stick to that Bible, brother. I'm going to let it go. Don't get me wrong, I live as a boy, I grew up as a boy, and I do all things boys do. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, say, listen, in everything, a God run thing. So I had to keep that in mind. And I said, you know what? You want to be a follower of Christ, you must first learn to serve.
You have to serve.
You have to serve your people. And me being a true 100% diehard Jamaicans, my goal is to help my people. Thus me being on the radio to try to, educate and bring forth knowledge and ideas of how they can improve their mindset. Because you look at it, even though we are celebrating our independence, I will say this loud and clear, and no apology, Jamaica have some of the most mindless people there is. All right, there's some brilliant people in Jamaica, but you have some whose mindset is that of mental slavery, and I will not apologize for that. My job is to help you become better,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've seen it, I've been there, done that. You know, I'm grown now, I have my own kids, I just turned a grandfather, so you know, I have the knowledge.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I have the knowledge.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I always tell my wife this: listen, if there's one thing about me, I'm not gonna take things and take it for granted. I never ever complain. Used to when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
but now you get older, you're wiser, you see things and you understand it. No need to complain. You know, no matter what happened, James, I can go out there and see somebody in a worse off situation than
That's
me.
true.
No matter
That's true.
what I want to complain about, I've seen it, been there, done that. I say, you know what? It doesn't make sense complain. If he doesn't have any job, if he doesn't have any money, but he's on the street and you call him a madman, but yet guess what? Him can't smile, him can't do this. Why am I complaining? I have all my limbs, everything. I have life, health, and strength. I have a job. You know, why am I complaining? I have a home. Why am I complaining? And I said, no, man, I learned. Stop the complaining and give God thanks.
That's true. That's true. That's one thing that is a number one lesson to be learned in all society, all walks of life, not just the Caribbean diaspora, is empathy. Once you empathize with somebody else's plight, you calm yourself down and you humble yourself and you are able to try to help out the other man. Because it's easy to kick a person when they're down, but it's hard to lift a person up and try to find out why is the person down where they are. So in your bio, I read that you made it your mission, right, to help out the people in your community, the Jamaican diaspora. Is there a specific event outside of your father in your household being the way he was, being a Rolling Stone? Was there a specific thing that you seen in your community that you wanted to say, I want to make a change, I want to make sure that not only my life changes, but other people that look like me, sound like me, have the same background as me to have a better, the next generation have a better, so they don't have to suffer from the pitfalls that I suffered from?
And it's always family structure. You look at it, and like I mentioned before, the women are the one carrying the burden. Don't get me wrong, there's some fathers who are they're the man. They're doing their duty, but not a lot of them get the celebration that they deserve. And we look at life now and we see, wow, every time I go to Jamaica, I always go to the rural areas. You know, and I look and see, I learn, cried, simply because of the fact that, nah man, this can't be the Jamaica of 2023, and people are still living like this. I was there the other day and I was like, why are so many people so angry? What's causing it? And then you have to realize this, the mindset. Yes, they're gonna blame the government for not providing, but guess what? When did the government do provide? They don't want to work. They don't want to do this. I mean, we spoil them in a way by saying, okay, we're sending remittances back home. You know, if you don't teach a man to fish, he's not going to go out and learn how to fish. He's going to continue depending on James or Donovan. Oh yeah, my uncle I go send something, my brother I go send something to me every month. They don't want to do it for themselves. But as soon as the money comes and take away some foolishness, you know. I tell people this, and proud to be it. Like I said, you will not find another Jamaican like me. I go to Jamaica, straight Jamaican I buy. I'm not going to no Chinese man store, I'm not going to no this man store. No, I'm going to James store. Why? Because if I don't support you, you can't keep up with them and their fake products, and it's going to diminish, and you're going to say, boy, the man sell it for $5, you have to send yours for 10.
Not only that, is when you spend with people in the community, that dollar stay in the community.
That's
when you spend money with companies outside of the community, it goes into their community. So if you have in your neighborhood a Korean store or a pizza shop, or I'm talking about here in America, and you buy those products, they're not spending that money in the community. That money is going to go to support their family and people in their a part of their diaspora. But when you spend money of people in your community, that dollar's circled around in that community, and it builds up infrastructure.
Yes, it does.
It goes to the churches, it goes to education, and childcare, and things of those natures to help the next generation to be better, to benefit, to be a shining example for the next generation. So I see that you wear a number of hats, but all of the hats that you wear, it always points to serving the community.
Yes,
Was
yes.
that on purpose, or you just happened to just fall into those kind of positions?
In a way, it was on purpose, and I kind of fall into it because I mean, you see things. I'm a very passionate person.
Okay.
When I see things, especially, you want me to do something?
Mm-hmm.
Put a child in front of me.
Okay.
You know, and that will get me because I was once a child, still act like a child at times because I enjoy life.
And you will never age.
I enjoy life, and I looked at it and I said, "Wow, love to see children smile." You know, if I see a child sad, I am going to do something to make him or her smile. You know, and once you do that, they'll cling to you, and you make an impact upon them because you don't know that this is something that, yes, they can be better in the future because of what you did or what you said to them. And of course, we always say, you know, our children are our future. But what are we doing to help them build a better future? Remember, you know, a child is not born bad, you know. He or she see and learn something, whether it's in the community or his environment or her environment. It's always starting from the community and then mostly from home. So what they learn at home is what they will carry out there in the world. And of course, a lot of people always say, "Oh, I'm sending the kid to school so they can learn." But you, as a mother and father, are the first teacher in that child's life. So you, whatever the child does is a reflection of you. Don't get me wrong, you know, some kids are, you know, opposite, 7 brothers, 7 different minds, and they'll do things differently. One is a bad one in a bunch and whatever, but he or she, something is up here that triggered him or her to do what they did. So we have parents and people in the community. Back in the days, my mother didn't have to tell you, you know, to behave yourself. You know, and your mother didn't have to tell me for because we know, you know, your mother is also my mother, and my mother is also your mother. Those things are missing now because, you know, we get caught up with the American way of life, you know, the internet, social media, you know, TV and everything, and I call it television because that's all they do, trying to trick the mind. And of course, you see them doing that nowadays. And, you know, when you're telling a child to be, you know, outside his or her gender, I mean, that's satanic. And as a parent, you know, I'm one who stands strong and stand up for what's right. I don't care who the person is. I am not backing down from nobody because God fearing, that's who I am. And that's the only person I fear. So if they want to say such and such, that's their opinion. I deal with facts. And, you know, a lot of times we, the ones, are what causes our children to do what they do. And then we end up blaming them when they do wrong. So we got to be accountable ourselves, you know. How are you going to tell me don't smoke? But you are smoke, you know. So you have to set that example and know that, listen, your child is a version of who you are. You bring them into the world, so they're gonna do and emulate what you do best. And if you don't love them, they'll go to somebody else. So love is always the answer that brings things back around.
Fill in all the gaps and all the spaces. You have to have no air whatsoever. It's just like with insects. If your place is infested with insects, the first person that comes in, the person that lays down the pesticide, when they come into your home, what they do is they find all of the crevices, anything that can leak out, and they caulk it. It's the same thing within your household. I remember as a kid, my father did construction, right? And he will come home same time every day. And I will run to him and ask him, "Daddy, can I have $1?" And he always looked upon me. He put his hand upon his keyboard and he looked upon me and he said, "You know, when I was your age back in Jamaica, right? Me used to have to wake up 3:30 in the morning, tie cow, feed the goat, tie donkey, and me have to walk barefoot to school, and we have one shoes, and the shoes me have to wear to church, and then that same shoes, when my foot get too big, me have to carry it down to the next brother, right? So I have to make sure that what I do is for the next person. So when I heard that, oh, as a kid, you don't want to hear that kind of things. You just want the dollar. So you can go to the store and buy cheese chips or juice or candy, right? But when I got older,
you understand,
I went back to Jamaica and I saw where he went, where he grew up, and he had to walk barefoot in the dirt to school, and he had to carry his books with a belt. Them time they didn't have book bag. You know, they had to carry his books with a belt, and that same belt he had to use to tie his pants to go to church. So I appreciated everything, you know. And those little stories he told me about appreciation, about the value of $1, about the value of working hard, work ethic. By that one little story. And he always told me that one little story to make sure that it resonated with me. right? My mother used to say when she came here from Jamaica that if we ever have the opportunity like Uno have, you couldn't talk to it.
That's
right. And I always took offense to it because I said, I didn't ask to be born here. I didn't ask to be born, period. That was you guys' choice. But I realized what she said when I got older, when I went back to Jamaica and I saw how hard they worked to be recognized, how hard they had to work to get the same things that I, in a first world country, would take for granted. You know, they had to work for all those things. My aunts and uncles had to pay for those common amenities. It wasn't for free. There wasn't no government subsidization for certain programs. They had to pay that out of pocket, you know. So it allowed me to appreciate the small things, you know, uniform and free lunch and all of these things. I had to take advantage of those programs and make sure I couldn't come home with less than an A+ on my test. Because I know when I said my mother would always say, you know, you have cousin backyard who would kill for this opportunity. There's nothing less than A+.
Yes,
when they're
right.
grown are done. That's what she always would say. So my next question is, who would take over from you, your helm, what you started in your lifelong 35 years of community activism, of humanitarianism? Is there anybody that you are training that's under your wing to take over for when you say, you know what, I've done all I need to do, here's the baton for you to carry? Is there anybody?
Well, yeah, more than one. We have these different task forces, and a lot of them are with children. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to look after the children in a way in which we want them to learn and understand. We have our independence and we have our carnival and our jerk festival and stuff like that. So we have children within those organizations that we are training, you know, to carry on. We have our own children too, though they were born here, but you know, that might not like my sons, they might not want to continue with that sense, but they know of it. So we have other children who are interested, you know, want to learn the culture, want to be a part of the culture. So we're laying the foundation for them and guide them along the way. It's not just me bringing them on the radio station, having them talk about what they're doing. We want to make sure that they develop what they want in life, and of course also teach them how to be a better citizen and a better human being. Because I mean, like I said, a lot of children are led astray by what they see and what they learn. Every child want to see something and a bad man come around and, yo, you want to read that, I want to be like you when we grow up. You know, a teacher come around, nah, that's just a teacher. You know, and they don't know the value of a teacher, and the teacher can teach them to have and be a better person. So yeah, man, we're doing that in the circle, especially within the diaspora. So we want people to learn and understand that we're here to serve and also to help the future generation develop and become better.
So that was a loaded question, and you gave me a loaded answer. You pretty much answered my next question. The next question was, what motivates you? So I'm gonna say, obviously, children motivates you.
One of the reasons is children, and the fact that my heritage, Jamaica, the real heritage now, not the watered down version. We're a Christian country, you know, believe in God. They always say Jamaica has more churches per capita than anywhere else in the world, as small as Jamaica might be, but at the final time we know that yes, we do fear and love God. And that was one of the motivation that, you know, said, you know what, if I'm gonna go out there, because you can't do things without prayer. You know, it's hard, and of course you have to understand that you want to make an impact. You can't just go there by yourself, and you don't know who is thinking what and what they'll do, and people might not like you because of what you're becoming, and you know, they'll try to hide things from you and have function and don't invite you and stuff like that. But I don't pay that no mind. I know what I want, and I know what I'm going to do, and I know how to get it. And the fact that me being on the radio is a plus, because it helped me to get to the masses, and it helped me to advance. I've been to many places. I won many awards, and give God thanks for that. But at the same time, the message is you want to spread love. You wanted the people to understand that this is what Jamaica is about. You know, we're different. I could have chosen the wrong path of life. I was forced to do drugs, chose not to do it. You know, I would willingly put my life on the line to beat up the guy who wanted to force me to do it. And, you know, I know what I want back then, you know, and I know not to let certain things bother me, and not to, you know, be depressed. And people always say, why? me stress out. And I mean, you're a human being, yes, but you have control over what you do. Life is what you make it.
That's
you know, nobody can come tell me and say, "Oh, what I didn't make me." No, 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 no. I decide my own destiny. God is the 1st, and the trick is always like that. So I don't worry about what people might say negatively and I'm willing to take criticism. That's just part of life. And everybody have opinions, but I more deal with facts. And like I was telling people all the time, know your history and not his story. And there's difference. And of course, a lot of people are lost with the history of Jamaica. And we're trying to teach them, especially with the music. We want that culture to continue and not to be watered down. So we're just here and giving God thanks and being God-fearing. We're going to achieve what we want. So you set out your goals and you make it happen. Simple. You work, you're going to run into roadblocks and bumps and dust your foot or your shoulder off and get up and walk again. You can't keep staying down. And that's the epitome of a true Jamaican. We don't give up. I mean, I've seen women say, how on God earth them survive. You go on one little shack and you have 8 kids in there with 1 bedroom and you would say, my God. And you look at it and you say, wow, what am I complaining about?
Absolutely nothing.
You have your own home, your own AC, your this and your that. What are you complaining about?
I'm going to piggyback on that. My father passed away in 1993, and I went to Jamaica, where he is from Mandeville, Ginger Hall, right? And I slept in the bed that he slept in, right? And it was a 1 room, right? Outside kitchen, separate kitchen. You have an old house, and there's no running water. That they use tank water, right? There's no electricity. There's no plumbing, right? And nighttime come without no electricity. Dark, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face.
It's a lamp,
right? Yeah, they used to have lantern, kerosene lantern, right? So every time I visit Jamaica, I always have to go back to the foundation, to where
keep
my
your
father
humble.
is from. Keep me humble. When I walk up that hill is a very trek. The incline is more than 45 degrees incline, and I will walk it. I will make sure I know that the foundation, where my parents came from, where my father came from, and he make life for himself here in the States, and I'm a living testament to what his efforts were. And I can say that I'm a success story. He was the first success story, but I'm the product of his success, because he was determined. He didn't give up. He didn't make that what his beginnings were to define him as a person, because he could have mentally stayed back into that one shack, 2-room shack. But he didn't. He allowed whatever education and work ethic that he learned from his father. My grandfather was a farmer. My grandfather built roots and all of those things. He had 12 kids, right? And he was God-fearing. My grandmother was the same way. She was the matriarch of the family. She made sure that everybody in the community benefited from her prowess, which was God, which was making sure that there was no hungry belly in our community. She feed everybody, right? Not only with food, but with knowledge of self. So she makes sure that everybody had their affirmation and everybody would strive to be better. I hear stories from cousins from the UK, from Canada, and they always talk about my grandmother, what my grandmother did for them, and these people that is successful in whatever discipline that they had. And one thing that I noticed with that resonated with me, and I made it proof today when you said your mother gave you a Bible when you was 12. So the saying is, when you're 12, you're responsible for your own sins. Right? So I know that my mother taught me something from age 1 to age 12. From 12, she said that to me. You're responsible for your own sins. So everything you do from this day forward is going to reflect on you. So I that resonated with me, and I know that whatever I do is going to leave a trail behind me, like your shadow. Right? So I always wanted to strive for better. I always wanted to strive for not perfection, but to try to do better tomorrow than I did yesterday. It's because my efforts is going to lead with me, go with me. And I want to say that to say this, right? I remember my first show doing poetry. I did a poem called Jamaica, Jamaica. right? And Mr. Longmore was in the crowd. And after I recited my poem, I had a round of applause, and he came to me and he took me to the side and he said, "I like your poem, you know, come and do the show on 88.1 FM, WESU." And I went to the radio station, Fresh and Green, my first book. At the time, I didn't even have a book. I didn't publish a book yet. By the time I did the interview, I published a book, and I came and I presented the book with him, and I recited Jamaica, Jamaica. And I want to say that Mr. Longmore, your interview was one of the first interviews that I ever had on the radio. And that promoted a fire that was within me to strive and do more, because I know my writing and my talents is more than just me getting $1. I know that the words that I say, it will resonate with the next community. It's just like reading the Bible. It's just like in a Jamaican community, them speak with proverbs. They don't give you the information straight.
Exactly.
They tell you in proverbs, so you have to figure it out for yourself. Just like your mother did with you. They said there's 2 bad people in the world, and she didn't give you the answer. You had to search for the answer for yourself, right? So me, I like to give people the flowers while they are still alive and they can smell them. So I'm going to say that you helped cultivate the fire that was in me. And I have Creators Corner, and I want to, my job is to do what you do, right? To inspire the community to be the best versions of themselves and try to inspire other people to do the same. Because if we think about each other, if we see a man down and we are that person's crutches, nobody will fall. Everybody in the community would be strong. Everybody in the community would be helpful. And that's one thing that's missing out of our neighborhoods is community, a sense of community. I grew up in New York, Bronx, New York. And there was a community where it was blessed to have a community, because a whole bunch of Caribbean people in the neighborhood. If it wasn't a one parent that was from the Caribbean, it was 2 parents from the Caribbean. If it wasn't Trinidad and Tobago, it was Jamaica. If it wasn't different parts of Paris and Jamaica, it is Barbados. And everybody was from the Caribbean, and everybody shared their experiences, and they had a common commonality in the community, and they made sure that presence of community, the presence of God, was inside of our community. So if a person have no sugar, you can't go over Miss Johnny and get sugar. If this person don't have milk, I see him thing. If you need a babysitter, I see him thing. You know, you can't go over Miss Tiny and stay. Even if she watch soap opera, you know, so you're good, right? So I want to say that you and what you do for the community. I have a book titled "Bound by Honor, Betrayed by Trust," and one of my main characters, he saw his father from Haiti come down, and he experienced xenophobia, right? And he had a desire to help out the next generation that is part of the diaspora, and set up programs so people from the next generation would benefit from those programs. And you are living proof of doing just that.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So if there's more people in our community that is connected to the commonality to make sure that we would uplift the next generation, because we're born already, right? Well, what sins we have, we're responsible from we 12. So if you made $1 million, or you are in the church or whatever denomination you believe in, and you fulfilled within yourself, when your cup runneth over, you're supposed to fill somebody else's cup. And you're a living example of doing that. So I want to applaud you.
Thank you, my brother.
I'm hopeful that we inspire a person out there in the community, in the Creative Corners fan base, to do the very same thing, to be the best versions of yourselves. And when you achieve that goal, keep learning, keep doing, keep walking in your path, and inspire somebody else to do the exact same thing. So Mr. Longmore, is there any words of wisdom that you want to tell my community, tell my fan base, that inspires you so they can be the best versions of themselves?
Simply put, love God and live. Simply put, love God and live. You can't love if you don't know God.
True.
And you can't know God if you don't know love. So that's it. Love God and live. Because when you love, you're going to want to do what's right. And when you love God, you want to help your people, be a servant of your people, because if you're going to follow him, take up your cross and walk with him. And that's how you do it. You love God and live. Simple. Nothing hard, nothing, to be outdone, no competition. You just do what you need to do to live your life to the best. It's not what man say about, but it's what God says. So we have to learn that in life. At the end of the day, though you might have different religion, different this, different that, one God. All right, so that's what you're going to answer to every day. So we're not here to fool nobody. We're just here to want to let you know that what life is about, and that's how you're going to live. You're going to have, like I said, struggles. You're going to have fights. You're going to have enemies. You're supposed to. That's part of life. And you just have to make the best of it. So continue just living, loving, and just giving your best and do your best. Pray every day and give God thanks, and your life shall be, of course, guided by him. The Bible says, he ordered the steps of a righteous man, or woman. So let's continue to do what we do. Put God first, and everything will be right. Because the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything you desire shall be added unto you. I don't think a lot of people understand what that means. That's powerful. And if you want to live, you can live right. It's not about being perfect. Everybody else says, I'm not perfect. That's just an excuse. But the Bible says, be perfect like how he is perfect. So we need to stop the excuse. Live the life that we need to live. Just love God and live. Simple.
That's it. That's good. And this culminates our show. And until next time, Creative Corner is so you out there could be the best versions of yourselves. And after you achieve that, you can inspire the other person to do the same. And I thank you for tuning in on Creators Corner. This culminates this episode, and see you on the next one.